your MC or moderator today. To start off, let us give a big round of applause for all the AIMEP alumni program participants who have contributed to the success of this event. Especially, would like also to thank you to the Embassy of Australia, Mosaic Connection. Here we have Ibu Brina and also Pak Rowan, AIMEP Forum Alumni, especially the chairman, Mr. Yanwardi Syukur, and of course, all partners who have involved and contribute to the success of this event. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me first invite my colleague, Sister Nurul, to share our screen the video of profile of Alumni Forum. Floor is yours.
Kilas balik Forum Alumni AIMEP. AIMEP, Australia Indonesia Muslim Exchange Program, adalah program pertukaran tokoh pemuda-pemudi Islam antar kedua negara yang sudah berjalan sejak tahun 2002. Hingga hari ini, lebih dari 300 alumni program, baik dari Indonesia maupun Australia, dari beragam latar geografis, profesi, kompetensi, komunitas, dan organisasi telah merasakan manfaat keterlibatan dalam program yang berlangsung secara luring maupun daring tersebut. Memperingati 15 tahun kiprah dan dampak program AIMEP di Indonesia, pada tahun 2017, pihak Australian Embassy mengundang para alumni AIMEP untuk berkumpul dan merancang program kontribusi alumni di bawah kepemimpinan Yanwardi Syukur. Alumni Angkatan 2015, Forum Alumni AIMEP, terbentuk pada saat itu. Hingga hari ini, Forum Alumni AIMEP telah melaksanakan beberapa kegiatan program. 1. Penerbitan karya buku, kolaborasi alumni sejak tahun 2017. Hidup damai di negeri multikultur. Islam kontemporer di Indonesia dan Australia. Muslim, Millennial, dan Faith and Pandemic. 2. Pelatihan dan workshop menulis di Jakarta dan Makassar. 3. Webinar dengan menggunakan ragam platform digital dengan mengangkat ragam topik antar alumni dan narasumber selama masa pandemi. Ikuti kami di sosial media berikut ini.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sister Nurul. It is very, very interesting and indeed a great video. So my friends, ladies and gentlemen, before we continue to our main session, that's the talk show, I want also to invite you to let us know, kindly chat and simply put your answer on the chat box. We want to know from which country are you joining this talk show? Are you joining from Indonesia? Are you joining from Australia? Are you joining from Singapore, from Malaysia, or from which country are you joining now? Kindly use the chat box and let us know from what country are you joining us right now. So it is good to know all of you. Wow, some from Jakarta. Oh, this is Pak Yanwardi Syukur, our chairman. So who else? From what country are you joining? Oh, Jakarta, Indonesia. Yeah, thank you, Surabaya. Yeah, also we have from Australia. Nice, of course. Yeah, I'm Narm, Melbourne, Australia. Yeah, many others. Salatiga. Oh, we have also from Salatiga, Indonesia. From Bogor, yeah, also we have from Bogor, Indonesia. Malang. Oh, very interesting. We have also from Sukabumi. Many of you joining from different part of the world and different cities in Indonesia and Australia, and also based on the registration form that we received from the committee or the organizer, some also joining from Malaysia and Singapore. It's indeed interesting to welcome you everyone here. One more question. Could you please let us know, are you lecturer, are you teacher, are you student? So it's also good to know, and also to know all of you from the chat box. Also simply put the answer on the chat box. Yeah. Are you? What's your occupation now? Are you teachers? Oh, I'm student. Yeah. Some students. We have also teacher. We have also lecturer here. Oh, we have hamba Allah. It's interesting. One hamba Allah joining with us. English teacher, college students. I'm student. Okay. But what I find interesting, some of you answer with the hamba Allah. Yeah, we are all hamba Allah. Yeah, thank you everyone. Yeah, it's indeed a good start to know. Oh, we have also pensiunan. Oh, nice. Yeah, thank you everyone. Okay, my friends, before we start before we are moving to the next session, that's the talk show, let me first also invite my sister Heni Soleha to get started with the quiz session. And from there, we may learn some new facts about Ramadan in Australia and Indonesia. Sister Eni, are you there?
Yeah, hello Dito. Hello,
Yeah, please,
how are
floor
you
is yours.
today, everybody? So we would like to have a simple quiz. It's about how well do you know Indonesia and Australia. It's just like a simple quiz from Kahoot. So I will send you some link so you can try the link on chat box Kahoot IT, and then you can type the game pin. Yeah. Okay, and I will share you the screen of the game so all of you can see the game. Okay, we'll wait for about 1 minute. So can you see the slide? So just type kahoot.it. Okay, we have Brin here. Okay, so we are waiting. Okay, Lucas, Fatur. Wow. Okay. Okay, Inas, thank you for joining. Sabrina, Bila. Okay, Rowan, Pak Rowan, I hope you can win the game. Okay, Cika. Khairul. Okay. Okay, let's see Mas Alim, Mbak Sari. Okay. Okay, Apip. Suna. Okay. Can we have some more participants? Okay, Fatima, Aya. Okay, Roms. Okay, how many participants? Okay. Okay, hamba Allah. Okay, we have hamba Allah. Okay. Okay, Dalpa. Okay. Anyone want to join more? Okay. Okay, I think we got enough participant, right? So let's start the game today. Okay, Mohibatul. Okay, okay. I will have 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4, 5. Okay, we can start the game now. Okay. Okay, AIMEP Ramadan games. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, select the questions. Okay, which Australian animal sleep almost 24 hours a day? Okay, wallabies, koalas, kangaroo, Tasmanian devils. Okay. Which one that sleeps longest? Okay, I hope you can answer the questions. Okay, good. Koala, that's great. Yeah, koala sleep almost all the days. So the next question. Okay, we have Fatima. Okay, who will beat Fatima then? Next question is
Capital city of Australia apa boy?
Australia.
Capital city.
Okay.
Australia.
Okay, please
ya?
answer by yourself, yeah. Answer by yourself, yeah. Okay, Perth, Adelaide, Sydney, Canberra.
Oh iya.
Oh, the favorite one. Okay. Oh, Canberra, good. Okay. Okay.
Ivan dong laptopnya.
Udah tutup. Udah macam. Warna
Located in blah blah blah, and Flinders Street Station is located in blah blah blah. Okay, we have a double score for this. Okay, please be careful. Okay. Okay, Adelaide. I think most of you have already know about it, yeah. Okay. Oke, Pak Lukas. Oke, Pak Rowan, Ines. Oke, the next one. The special meal served in Idul Fitri in Indonesia is... Okay, Indonesian people should know the answer correctly. Tumpeng, ketupat, nasi rames, nasi goreng. I prefer bakso, but we have no bakso here. Okay, what is the special meal? Oke, ketupat, correct. Oke, ada jawab nasi goreng. Not nasi goreng ya. Oke, Pak Lukas, Pak Rowan. Oke, Ines. Oke. The fifth questions, what is the national emblem of Indonesia? That's quite tricky. We have Zamrud, we have Padma, Raksasa, we have Garuda, Pancasila, and we have Badak Bercula Dua. Oke, Garuda Pancasila, good, not badak ya. Garuda, oke. Pak Lukas, Rowan, Ines, oke. Oke, this is the last questions. Oke, I hope the winner will be proud of themselves ya. We will pick top 3. Okay, Indonesia is located between the oceans of Pacific, Indian. Okay, good. I think all of the participants are great. Yeah, most of you. And we have Pak Lukas, Pak Rowan, and Najla. Okay, congratulations for the winner. Please send me your name on the chat box, and we will have special prize for you. Thank you, guys. We'll back to Mas Dito.
Thank you, Mbak Heni. Wow. The winners is our panelists. It's great. And yeah, we learned a lot of things. And also thank you, Mbak Heni, once again. Indeed, it's very, very fun and interactive quiz session. And congratulations to the winners. My friends, ladies and gentlemen, we also invite you to kindly post and share your experience joining this talk show on your social media. So I would like to invite you, if you are active in the social media, kindly post and share your experience joining this talk show, especially on your Instagram. And do not forget to tag our social media, AIMEP, Australia Indonesia Muslim Exchange Program, and also Forum Alumni AIMEP. So the committee or the organizer will inform you on the chat box which Instagram that you can tag for the social media purposes engagement. Okay, now my friends, we are moving on to the main segment of our event today. That is the talk show on the topic Ramadan in my community, how Australians and Indonesians engage with Ramadan. Yeah, of course, we are inviting everyone to be involved in the session, and please tell us what you have in your mind. Simply put your question and comments on the chat box later on. And my friends, ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have with us today a panel of distinguished speakers who are also our alumni, AIMEP alumni program from Australia and Indonesia, who will share their insight and experiences on the topic Ramadan in my community, how Australians and Indonesians engage with Ramadan. So let me introduce one by one our first speakers. The first speaker is Sister Inas Janif. She is the teacher and board member, Islamic Council of Victoria. Hello, Sister Inas. Are you there?
Yes, Assalamualaikum. Thank you for having me.
Nice to meet you, Sister Inas.
Likewise.
Yeah, the second speaker or panelist, let me invite Brother Lucas Hansworth or Mr. Ajo. He speaks also Bahasa Indonesia. Maybe he will also later on speak in Bahasa, maybe. He is the head of onboarding and portfolio services at Premium Ltd, and also PhD candidate of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. Hello, Brother Lucas, how are you?
Hi, Assalamualaikum. I'm good, thanks. Thanks for the invitation today.
Yeah, thank you, brother. So the third speaker or panelist, she is the Sister Nurul Fatimah Hasbullah, the co-founder Rumah Berkesah and lecturer of Universitas Nahdlatul Ulama Kalimantan Timur or IS Kalimantan. Sister Nurul, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hi. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Nice to meet you all.
Yeah, thank you. Last but not least, he is Brother Hazza Min Fadli Robbi, the Executive Director of Embun Kalimasada Cultural Center of Universitas Islam Indonesia. He is also the Assistant Professor of Department of International Relations Universitas Islam Indonesia. Hello, Brother Hazza.
Assalamualaikum.
Yeah,
Yeah,
waalaikumsalam
I'm fine.
warahmatullahi
Joining
wabarakatuh.
all of you from Yogyakarta.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So they are the fourth panelists and speaker for our today's session. Because this is the talk show and very, very informal. So I will invite them one by one to share their knowledge and information about something that we are going to discuss this afternoon. And yeah, we have some key question. Yeah, I want to again remind you, if you have in your mind, please chat and also simply put your comments, simply put your question on the chat box that's available on the Zoom here. So let me start my question to Sister Inas Janif. Sister Inas, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here. Thank you for being such a wonderful host, Brother Dito.
Sister Inas, my first question, how do you, based on your experience, how do you usually celebrate your Ramadan in Australia?
A really good question, and I look forward to hearing more about how Ramadan celebrated in Indonesia as well. I think it's really, key to remember how multicultural and diverse the Muslim community here is in Australia, and we've really changed over time. I think Ramadan is very, very individual, very private and intentional. So what we do, because we're only 3% of the population, we have to be very intentional. And I think the community really comes together, especially in this month, to wrap around the whole of the community, which includes people who have converted to Islam and might be doing Ramadan for the first time. So over time, I found that Ramadan has come from, in my childhood, which would be family iftars and Taraweeh prayers together, to now have more mosques and more places where people come together. There's pre-Ramadan festivals, which never used to happen before. So things for the kids to get excited about. There's a huge focus on getting children to understand what Ramadan is about and to make that the bigger focus than just Eid. So I feel like Ramadan is becoming more commercialized here in Australia. We have the Kit Kat with the, special Ramadan package here. We have Ramadan signs put up by businesses and organizations, and politicians wish us a wonderful Ramadan. And I think that they're really understanding why we're fasting. So in our daily life, I think we get to make it more intentional because we're such a small part of the population here.
Wow, interesting, Sister Inas. Also a good time to engage more with the family, yeah? From Australia, I moved to East Kalimantan first, Sister Nurul. Sister Nurul, how do you usually celebrate your Ramadan in Indonesia? Could you please share with us your experience?
Okay, thank you, Brother Dito. So Ramadan is always exciting for us here in Indonesia. I mean, it's not only religion's definitions or meaning, but it has also cultural meaning as well. And also for a disclaimer, I actually not only have Ramadan experience in East Kalimantan, but since also my cultural heritage, my parents both come from Indramayu. It's a city, it's a part in West Java, border between West Java and middle of Java. And but I grew up also in Bandung, capital city of West Java. So it's quite interesting how these three different cities celebrates Ramadan. It's actually the same, but they have different calling for
Wow.
these activities. So it's quite interesting actually. And what is always exciting is maybe how we welcome Ramadan. Like we will gather with our family, and it happens in all these three cities as well, but with different names. Like in Bandung, it's called more like Munggahan.
Munggahan.
It's called Munggahan. And we have like botram, where we have put all our foods
It is
together.
more Sundanese language, yeah?
Yeah, it's a Sundanese language like botram. And then in Indramayu as well, we have this kind of activities, but we don't call it like we don't have a special name for it. And also in East Kalimantan. And other activities that is also exciting is how we call everyone to have sahur. Yeah, before Fajar, where the childrens or maybe also the adults will walking around with some music or just, I don't know, make any sounds of it. And it's also called by different name. In Bandung, it doesn't have a special name as far as I remember, but in Indramayu it's called obrok, because they just use everything that they have, like for from some things for cooking, panci, and they will use it, and all just with everything they have at their home. So that's why it's called obrok. And in Samarinda, it's called bagarakan sahur.
Bagarakan sahur.
Yeah, bagarakan sahur. Even in East Kalimantan, they have a competition, a special competition about this bagarakan sahur. So which group will have the best music or the best way to wake up everyone to sahur. And it's really quite interesting. Maybe I can just a little bit share photos about it.
Please.
Okay. Yeah. So it's something like that. This is the good one. Gerakan sahur. They use okay. Yeah. They use like they use really good a small
like a cart, a gerobak, cart.
Gerobak, yeah?
Yeah, that's a good, yeah. Yes, I'm back here. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, technical problems. Yeah, so like a small beduk here, but then here in Ramayu, it's also quite interesting because then they really use sound systems and drums as well for this obrok. And here below, what I already told you, they use everything they have at their home, like to walking around and waking up people to have sahur. Yeah. And here is also what interesting. We have every kind of food for Ramadan that just come only special for Ramadan. And this one is called Munggahan in Bandung and Botram. Yeah,
thank you very much, Sister Nurul. It's very, very interesting. Before I move to Brother Lucas and Brother Haza, let me also invite Sister Ines once again. Sister Ines, because in the beginning you also mentioned about the activities that you usually do with your family before Ramadan in Australia. Could you please share with us maybe what are the activities that usually you do before Ramadan, like what Mbak Nurul mentioned, like munggahan, botram, or I don't know, in Kalimantan words, could you please also write down that? What about you, Sister Ines?
Well, I think we do more things of service. So we make sure that things are prepared so that everybody can be well cared for during Ramadan. But I know that personally, because my daughter goes to a public school with lots of people who aren't Muslim and they don't understand what Ramadan is and they don't know a lot about Muslims. So I'll give them children's books. There's so many new children's books that really go into what Ramadan is and maybe the night of power. And we give gifts to people who help others. So those are the sorts of things that we try to encourage. So like I think activities wise, we don't have, to my knowledge, as fantastic and as interesting as Sister Nurul spoke about, because we're quite fragmented in our locations. When we come together for community, so I think during Ramadan is where we do more of the activities and fun things that come together at mosques and other community centers, I think. But I'd like to hear what Lucas says, because like I said, we come from many different backgrounds, so we bring our cultural traditions together. So then you have, you know, Indian Muslim traditions around Ramadan and iftar, meshing with Arab, with Italian and other backgrounds. It's really amazing.
Yeah, thank you, Sister Ines. So I think I want to move to Brother Lucas. Brother Lucas, also, could you please share with us the unique Ramadan customs and tradition in your country, in Australia? So maybe it's also dealing with how do you celebrate your Ramadan? Please,
Sure.
brother.
Thanks, and thanks for the invitation to speak today. I guess the one thing that I wanted to highlight, because I grew up as a Christian, I converted to Islam around about 15 years ago, is that there's a general lack of knowledge or a gap in knowledge about what Ramadan really is. So it's a good opportunity when you speak to someone who is not a Muslim to talk about what the benefits are of Ramadan. And at your office, even because I've got people who work with me and work for me, talking to your staff about the fact that, you know, we'll be having lunch today, but if you see me working at my desk, that's fine. It just means I'm working through lunch because I'm not eating. And these spark other conversations too. People are quite surprised sometimes when you tell them, oh, you're not eating or drinking while the sun's up? And I said, yeah, that's correct. I said, well, how do you survive? And I tell them the truth, that the way that to survive Ramadan is to pre-plan, to make sure you get up for breakfast, to make sure you've had enough water, to think about what you want to eat at the end of the day. Ramadan's very event-driven as well. So during the week when you're at work, the people expect you still to give your full 100% from 9 to 5. But on the weekends is normally the time where we come together. And that's a good opportunity for everyone in the Indonesian, which I'm a member of as well, community, to get together and to have iftar together. Normally one family will bring one plate. And when we say one plate, we don't just mean empty plate. We mean they'll cook one dish and they'll bring it to the mosque or they'll bring it to someone's house and we'll have like a buka bersama. And then we will normally do Tarawih prayers. Then we have some kind of discussions about how many raka'ats and how many Tarawih, you know, verses you want to do. Yeah, I think the other thing is that the other thing that happens in Australia that you don't get in Indonesia is the seasonality of Ramadan. So for the last few years, it's been really quite easy because it's in winter and it's colder and the days are shorter. Whereas now we're moving into summer, it's about 13 hours. In about 4 to 5 years, you'll be looking at maybe like 15 or 16 hours of fasting, which it gets more difficult over time. And in those years, I will be coming to Indonesia to hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably...
Lucas, sorry, I'm also wondering, in Ramadan, do you also find the different way in determining the first at the beginning of Ramadan and Lebaran as what we experience in Indonesia? Could you please also tell us about that?
Yeah, so because everyone comes from their respective madhab and they come from their respective school of fiqh and stuff, we have what's called moon fighting. is where people people have arguments about, can we see the hilal of the moon? Can we see it, or has it been seen in Western Australia, etc.? And some organisations will go based on, yeah, it's moon wars, and some organisations will go based on the hilal. Others will go behind organisations that are, with INAS as a member, which is the Islamic Council of Victoria. Yeah. Because we don't have like a Majlis Ulama of Australia, we don't have a central board or a central body that kind of dictates to everyone. We have lots of people doing their own little different things, but we don't have a problem with that. And if you want to start a day earlier or you want to start a day later, we don't care, as long as you just do your Ramadan, and it's fine, because we all come from different backgrounds and traditions, and I come from a non-Muslim background and tradition.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Thank you, Brother Lucas. I think I want to move also to Brother Haza. Are you there, brother?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, could you please also share with us the unique Ramadan customs and tradition in Indonesia, especially the place where you live in Yogyakarta? Also, it's also dealing with how you celebrate Ramadan. Please, brother.
Okay, so initially before the Ramadan starts, we have this tradition that is called as Nyadran. So Nyadran is a tradition where people coming from the same village are gathering into the village cemetery. And after that, they are doing the prayers together. They are cleaning the graves of their ancestors. And also they will be having lunch together in front of the graveyards. Yeah, so it is an event originated from Hindu tradition, but adopted during the era of Islam, ascent to Java during 16th to 17th century, and people are still keeping the tradition intact. Why? Because we see that through this event of Nyadran, we will be meeting together with our family. We will be sharing our food together with people who are in need. And also we are realizing the value of silaturahim, or the value of strengthening our familial bond with our relatives. So Nyadran is a good tradition that we have adopted from Hindu. So it's originated from a Sanskrit word, Shraddha, which means that to purify ourselves before the Ramadan. Yeah. And I also done my Nyadran to my mother-in-law grave. Yeah, at the time it was the first Rajab, and I together with my wife, I'm cleaning the grave of my mother-in-law, late mother-in-law, and we think it as a service to her, even though she's already died. Another thing about the tradition of Ramadan, especially in Yogyakarta, is that we have a lot of campuses here, and a lot of campuses offers different kinds of program during Ramadan. And one of which is in Universitas Gadjah Mada, which is the largest university in Yogyakarta, and also one of the largest in Indonesia, and also one of the best. And during the Ramadan, the Universitas Gadjah Mada, through its campus mosque, we know it by the name of Masjid Kampus, they offer a whole range of program, one of which is the Ramadan public lecture, which will be participated not only by the students, but also by professors. And most of the speakers are coming from Jakarta. So last time I attended Ramadan public lecture after Tarawih, which was attended by Professor Mahmud MD himself, the coordinating minister for political law and security affairs. And he talked a lot about current political issues, but he framed it within the Islamic paradigm, obviously. He is very much known by his humor, and so he's inviting a lot of laughter. So imagine he's speaking in a mosque after Tarawih, and people are laughing because he's talking about the current scandals, and he's tried to frame it using Islamic perspectives. Initially, before this year, we used to have politicians as well, like Anies Baswedan, Ganjar Pranowo, and also Ridwan Kamil and Amin Rais to give speech in front of the Jamaah, in front of the congregation in the mosque. But recently, the Directorate is banning that effort because we are nearing the election year, and it will not be good if the aspiring candidates for the presidency next year are attending the event in the mosque. Yeah, so that's what I have to talk about the unique Ramadan tradition in Yogyakarta, especially.
Wow, interesting. Nyadran and many other activities like what you did during, after Taraweh, maybe a social sermon, pengajian after Subuh. That's also a good thing that you may find and get and see as well during Ramadan. I think I need to move to Sister Inas again. It's also interesting to discuss with her about the impact of Ramadan on social and cultural practices in your country in Australia. Especially at the beginning, you mentioned a very, very nice word, commercialization of Ramadan. Sister Inas, could you please explore about that?
Yeah, I think because we're such a small part of the population, but mashallah, over the years, we've really seen a greater awareness of what Ramadan is. And you can even buy, talking about commercialization, you can buy t-shirts that say, not even water. So a lot of people have questions like, when you're fasting, okay, so how long is it for? How do you survive? Especially when it's very long hours and very hot. But they start to understand, because I think in this day and age, when there is such a focus on the self, to actually deprive yourself of food and water, it really makes people stop and think, why are you doing that? And it comes down to your deep faith to do something that can be quite unpleasant. So I feel that Ramadan allows people to think about, even those who aren't Muslim, to think about the bigger picture. Why are we here? What is our purpose? And yeah, like I said, to do something so unpleasant at times, especially if it's summer, makes people think a bit deeper about what they're doing. In terms of how Ramadan has affected other social and cultural practices, we have more allowances or flexibility made towards Muslims at times. You'll see more prayer rooms at like public places, especially in terms of sport, which never existed before. Yeah. So I think like all of this helps to raise awareness, and also that cross-cultural exchange. We learn so much from listening to others and also sharing our own wisdom of our beautiful faith. And I think one of the biggest ways that we can do that is to teach other people about Ramadan, and we have a great opportunity to do that here. That hopefully will assist the future generations and make things easier. Because when we fast, students, for example, if exams or NAPLAN testing comes into that period, there's no allowance there at the moment. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that there will be a greater understanding of what the Islamic calendar really is, and perhaps to avoid assessment at that time. I think I'm coming from an unpopular perspective where other Muslims are like, we'll just do it. We'll do it while we're fasting and we can do this. Mm-hmm. But if we can gain awareness and allowances for other people, especially for our youngest, I think that could really help them in the future, inshallah, if it could just be shifted a month later, you know?
Yeah. Wow, interesting. Yeah. Teaching, also preparing good generation also is good for now, for Ramadan, in the coming Ramadan. Yeah, I move to Sister Nurul. What about you? What do you think? What impact has Ramadan had on social and cultural practices in your community, or especially in your village or your country, Indonesia?
I think during the Ramadan, what is also interesting and what is also affect us in the social perspective is we, during the other time of the year, maybe we don't put much time for actually engage more with our society. But during Ramadan, since it's also a culture for us to engage again with our family or with our friends, and yeah, it's gonna be like a culture. So normally in Ramadan, somehow we have more schedule compared compare with other months, because we will have so many iftars, like iftars with our families, iftars with our friends from senior high school, from junior high school, or from elementary school, or with our co-workers, and also with our friends from the university. So we will have so many tight schedules during the Ramadan for doing iftars together with our friends, and this is a special time for us to be more exist as a social entity in Ramadan, because when in the other, compared to the other months, we will say no, we don't have time and everything, so we have to work, we have to this and this, but in Ramadan we will have more focus to doing that, not only limited to our friends, but also for other people that have special needs. Then we will spare also our time and our money as well to share it to people that need that. Like that, I think.
Okay. Do you want to add others? Maybe Brother Lucas or Brother Haza about this question?
If I could just add one thing, I think that what Ramadan in Australia is, it gives an opportunity to the non-Muslim people to see us behave in a way that's good. And it also is a way for us to showcase to us how we can think about others first. If we could please mute whoever's unfortunately in a market or something, that'd be great. I think Rowan mentioned this as well, but I know that the Prime Minister had a national iftar, which was a way of getting all the leaders and Muslims together to be acknowledged by the government, and that was the second one. I think Malcolm Turnbull did one previously. But you're finding that over time, because of the collective effort of the population in doing Ramadan, that the society is becoming more aware and tolerant of Muslims, and the shops are now full of dates, and you can buy halal meat more easily at your local supermarket, because this is a market that people want to address, but also people are more accepting and tolerant of it. Yeah, that's probably the one thing I would like to say, is that because of the conscious effort of everyone in order to do Ramadan and to do it properly and to serve other people, we're finding that non-Muslims are becoming more accepting and more aware of what the good versions of Islam is. Yeah.
Thank you, Brother Lucas. It's indeed enlightening and also enriching information for us about the question. Okay, and I think I want to move to another question, because we still have two more questions as the key question for this talk show. I think it's also nice to discuss about food. When we talk about Ramadan, of course, we talk about food for our iftar and our shower. I want to hear first from Brother Haza. Brother Haza, what do you think? What role does food play in Ramadan, and how it's prepared and shared in your country, Indonesia, or in Yogyakarta?
Okay, so about food, I think food is having a very crucial role in in making the society more cohesive, especially during Ramadan, because we see that a lot of people, a lot of communities are sharing their cooked food to people. During the pandemic, I really remember that, everyone is having hard day during pandemic, yet people are continuing to give everything what they have to people who are not in it. So in Yogyakarta, we have a lot of people who are working as a street vendor, and also working as rickshaw driver, and they are also working as a delman driver. Delman is a horse carriage that is usually found in the street of Malioboro. So in those days, we have no tourists, and people are giving foods to people who are still struggling to find foods in each day. And it was really good to see that kind of thing happening during the days of pandemic, and it continues until today. So in Yogyakarta, you can easily find iftar spots. Yeah, you go to campuses and you will easily see everyone distributing food. In UMY, in Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, they distributed around 5,000 portion each day. 5,000 portion. It's a huge amount. In Jogja, in one of the most popular mosque in Yogyakarta, the Jogokarian Mosque, that they distributed 3,500 portion each day using plates, not
Every Ramadan.
but using plates. They do that in order to make the iftar even less waste. Yeah, so there will be no waste coming from boxes and also plastics, and they distribute it using plates. And all of the foods curated during that event in Jogokarian is exclusively made by mothers in that village, in the Jogokarian village. It's entirely managed the community. Yeah. And Jogokarian really emphasizes the word of As-Sajid Qabla al-Masjid. So they are really emphasizing on the congregation before the mosque. I mean, if you are looking at the mosque in Jogokarian, it's not that big. Yeah, so it's not as luxurious as any other mosque that you will find in other city in Indonesia, but they have a very active community in Yogyakarta here, and they are really empowering the local community to have their own event in Ramadan. So they are empowering the mother to cook the food every day, and the mother feel like they are happy because they are giving the food to everyone, yeah? and that's really good to know. And I can talk about the special food in Yogyakarta if you want to. One of the things that I would like to recommend to everyone, if you are coming to Jakarta, is to try this Ramadan specialty called es kicak. So kicak is something that is made of glutinous rice, and it's mixed with coconut milk and also with jackfruit. So you can imagine the sweetness coming from jackfruit and also the savor coming from coconut milk, and it's really good. It's a really good way to break your fast. Yeah, so that's what I
Thank you, Brother Haza. But also, could you please also write down the words of what is kicak on the chat box, so we may find and Google about that more information. What about in Australia, Brother or Uda Ajo, Lucas? Do you have any additional information about food that you usually have during Ramadan, or special food that you may find during Ramadan?
Well, to be honest with you, as a country which is like, unless you're Aboriginal, you all come from an immigrant background, our food is very diverse. So if you're having an iftar, you could be having anything from nasi kuning or lontong, sayur, to having a kebab. It could be anything. Yeah, and because people bring whatever they want to bring, sometimes people will just swing by the local halal KFC and bring chicken wings too. There's also night markets that you can go to, specifically in Sydney, in a place called Lakemba. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's no, because we don't have an Australian cuisine, it's all borrowed from everywhere else. It's a bit like you could get everything, or you could just get pizza. So yeah, maybe Inas has got some insight into that.
I was thinking, yeah, I totally agree with you. I think our food is so diverse, and that's an advantage. So when people come together, we learn so much from that being shared. And I was thinking about people may choose to get together for sahur and have special foods together as well. And like Brinna said and Lucas said, you've got the Ramadan night markets. You also have restaurants who do special iftars with lots of different foods you can get. And I think, yeah, food plays a huge role in Ramadan for us during our iftars and for sahur and what we share with others. It was so heartwarming to hear what Brother Haza said about all that food being made and shared. And I believe that's the case as well here in Melbourne. We do have people in Australia making meals and sharing them with the wider community because, yeah, finances are getting quite tough here in Australia at the moment. So I think it's needed more than ever as well.
Wow, nice. Talking about food. So it's also good to prepare that, and we can see the picture of the food. And also maybe if you have some more information on the website, please also share with us, so we might look at and also learn more about that information.
One more thing just quickly. I think that at the start of Ramadan, the way that you perceive food and the way that you want to eat food changes quite a lot to the end of Ramadan too.
Okay.
And this concept might be something that's very natural to people who are natural Muslims, but to Bule or to non-Muslims who are coming into Ramadan for the first time, on day one, you're like, oh, I'm starving. I need to go and eat everything. And then when you find that over time in the month, towards the end, it's normally just 3 dates, a bit of water and something light, and that's all you need to keep going. Your perception of how you eat food changes too. So that's something that's also kind of a bit more unique to Australia, because there are a lot of converts here, and the community is growing too. You've got famous people like Sonny Bill Williams, they've got millions of people that follow them on Twitter, and their experiences of Ramadan here also, they get broadcast as well to the wider world. HSP is a halal snack pack, which is chips or French fries with cheese, and then you've got lamb kebab or chicken kebab meat put on top, and then you add barbecue sauce, garlic sauce, and chili sauce. And normally people buy, if they've been out drinking, like the non-Muslims buy halal snack packs too. So yeah, the reason why it's called halal snack pack is because you can buy it from the kebab shops, and because most kebab shops are from Turkish or Lebanese background, they're halal meat. So that's why it's called HSP.
Oh, thank you, Brother Lucas. Very, very enriching and also insightful. I want to move to the next question, and I want to raise this question to Sister Nurul. Sister Nurul, I'm wondering, could you play about this question? How can Indonesia and Australia communities foster greater understanding and appreciation for the diversity of Islamic practice and beliefs? Because you are working and dealing with this community, and what's your thought about this?
Yeah, I think what is also a religious and also a philosophical meaning of Ramadan is also about unity, about how from different backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, and countries, and any backgrounds will doing the same activity as a human to having Ramadan. And it's a really beautiful message actually during this Ramadan, and how now it's like now how we can engage and discussing together about Ramadan and how the different it is, and how we also embrace these differences to be united together as a Muslims in special, and also as a human in general. And I think it's a beautiful message also from Ramadan. And I really hope that this kind of discussions and also this brotherhood, sisterhood, and as a whole community we can do it more and also in a long term.
Thank you, Sister Nurul. My friends, because also we ran out of the time, now I will move to the final question for this question. I want to hear from the 4 speakers, for the 4 panelists, and after this we move to the Q&A session. The question is, what are some potential future collaboration and cultural exchange opportunities between Indonesia and Australia during Ramadan and beyond? And maybe we can further explore about this. I want to listen and hear from every panelist. Let me start from Brother Haza.
So what were the question, Mas Dito?
What are some potential future collaboration and cultural expenses opportunities that we can implement, especially between us, Indonesia and Australia, during Ramadan or beyond?
Okay, I think that one of the possible ventures that we could do together as a community is to do some kind of interfaith engagement. And I think that in Indonesia, we have been kickstarting some of the interfaith iftar event, was it conducted by several interfaith organizations. I mean, like in some cases, some of the interfaith event kickstarted by interfaith community were being criticized because some people might think that if the iftar event is being conducted inside of a church, then, well, this this church organization might be doing some kind of Christianization, but as a matter of fact, it's not that way. So I think that more collaboration need to be done in this kind of in this kind of activity. So that's my take.
Thank you very much, Brother Haza. And now moving to Sister Inas, what are your thoughts?
I agree with Brother Haza there. I think we need much more collaborations like this to learn better about each other, especially those sorts of means. I think there's nothing like human connection. So having an opportunity to really speak with somebody else and be open and authentic, I think that's what helps bring about understanding. And the AIMEP program was fantastic for that. Like, we had so many opportunities to really discuss with each other what makes us tick and what we're interested in. And I really feel like that's how you take on long-term meaning, when you actually have those opportunities, inshallah. So panels and inshallah getting to meet each other in person, and there's nothing like that.
Thank you, Sister Inas. Now, what about your opinion, Brother Lucas?
What we could do together. Well, Salwa and I are just talking about having an idea of like a virtual iftar where we can have like and maybe the Australians can like have their, break their fast first, but then when Indonesia comes online, then we can have like a kuliah 7 minute, like a little short lecture, and we can have like a virtual iftar together, even though we've got time zone differences. Yeah, I guess one thing I wanted to say, Tito, this is not related to the question, but because in Australia, Eid al-Fitr or Eid al-Adha are not like holidays, I also have to ask my boss for time off. So in ours, you might work in a state school as well, but generally you have to request a day off from the office to do that. I think Brina had an interesting point as well about what was it? There's some fundraising campaigns that we've done. So at the moment we've got three campaigns in one. There's the floating school. There's also Brothers in Need, which helps homeless people, and there's an orphanage that we're looking to support too. So this is a good act of charity. And remember, the acts of charity that you do in Ramadan are multiplied too. As for breakfast, Vegemite on toast is generally not is how you do it. You don't do wheat bix for Vegemite. That's a bit gross, That's
did the Indonesians like Vegemite when we did the AIMEP program?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Lucas. Now, moving to the last speaker, Sister Nurul. What's your thought?
I think I agree with all ideas before, but generally, and also yes, we need more having like panels, discussion, and also collaboration. But in the perspective that how during the discussion we can strengthen our understanding to our beliefs, to our understanding about Islam itself, and also how we can also strengthen our position as individual in the society. So how we as a Muslim can engage with the social problems itself around us. Maybe starting with the awareness, and then later also to be able to contribute more to the society.
Yeah. Okay, wow, interesting. Very, very enlightening, very, very enriching answer. And thank you very much for the panelists. I think that's all the key question that I need to raise and discuss with you all guys. The panelists, yeah, indeed, we have a lot of question coming to you for the Q&A session. But before we jump to the Q&A session, let me invite my colleague, Sister Salwa, to introduce us the fundraising project by AIMEP alumni. This project is a testament to the dedication and commitment of AIMEP alumni to making a positive impact in the community. To Sister Salwa, floor is yours.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. Ramadan Kareem, everyone. It's really nice to see you all again here. I feel like I'm doing AIMEP course again. I love you all. And yeah, my name is Salwa. I'm alumni of AIMEP program 2022. And here I'm speaking here on behalf of as the person in charge for the fundraising campaign, actually with my Australian friend, Brother Abrar, but he's not coming here. But before I speak, so Mas Tito will play a video. Can you please play a video for us? Yeah, please enjoy the video. Yeah, okay. So this Ramadan IMEP Alumni 2022 are initiating several projects. So one of the project is the Zoom conference that you all are attending at the moment. And the second project is the fundraising campaign. So we are organizing this fundraising campaign in order to be as a bridge for you to do more for Ummah across Indonesia and Australia. So this fundraising, we are open for donation. The donation that you are giving to us, we don't give any limitation for rupiah, how much rupiah or how much Australian dollar. The donation that you are going to give us, we are going to distribute the donation to 3 communities. The first one is orphans in Pesantren Al Yasini Pasuruan in East Java province. And the second one is we are going to give it to disadvantaged children in the floating school in Pangkep Island in South Sulawesi. And the third one, we are going to give the money to a homeless community in Brisbane, Melbourne, and Sydney, assisted by one of AIMEP speakers in 2022, Brothers in Need. It's a charity organization. So why do we choose these 3 communities? Because these 3 communities are supervised by and assisted by IMEP Alumni 2022. So we really can make sure that the money will be distributed like very well to the needy. Yeah, we really hope that you join our fundraising and give some amount of money. Please, you can transfer the money to the following banks in Bank Jatim or in Australian Bank. I'm going to write it in the chat and you can screenshot it. And yeah, thank you. I really hope that you can join our fundraising. May Allah give the best reward for you.
Subhanallah. Thank you very much, Sister Salwa. Yeah, actually, as I already mentioned at the beginning, it is part of the dedication and the commitment of IMEP alumni to making a positive impact, inshallah, in the community. Yeah, my friends, now we are moving to the Q&A session. Of course, yeah, I saw from the chat box, I saw a lot of questions coming to the speakers. Some have been answered and some, yeah, we need to discuss further and explore within the Q&A session to make this interactive session be more interactive. I will invite the person who asked the question and put the question in the chat box to open the camera and also the microphone and also ask directly the question into the panelists and speakers. But before I invite for the Q&A session, let me remind you once again, please do not forget if you are active in social media to post and publish the experience you are joining this talk show on your social media, especially Instagram. And do not forget to tag the IMEP social media and Forum Alumni IMEP social media. And also, we also want to remind you that at the end of the session, after the Q&A, we will share you the link of attendance where you can reclaim your A certificate for joining this talk show. So my friends will sharing that link soon after the Q&A session. Yeah, let's move to the Q&A session. The first question coming from my brother Romzi Ahmad. Brother Romzi Ahmad, are you there? I'm wondering whether Gus Romzi Ahmad is here. He is asking a very interesting question. So let me ask once again to invite him. Okay, Brother Romzi, are you there? Oh, lagi gendong bayi. Oh no, yeah, interesting. He's now with yeah, terima kasih Gus Romzi. So let me read the question from Brother Romzi. Maybe it's also to Sister Inas and also to other panelists may answer and also my response this question. Gus Romzi asking that yeah, he mentioned that he is interested in further explanation of the commercialization of Ramadan. Do you see it as something positive, or is it negative because it makes religion a community? Let me start to invite Sister Ines first, and I will also invite the other panelists to give the response. The floor is yours, Sister Ines.
Jazakallah khair. I did try to answer this question in the chat, and I think it's like anything in, in terms of technology, it can be used for good or not so good. So I think it's really important that Muslims, particularly, monitor what's going on, and that we actively shape how that evolves over time. It's really good that we have someone.
Yeah.
So I'm being muted.
Please. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I was just saying that I think Muslims should actively monitor how culture is evolving over time, and how, this commercialization factor is changing over time. So I gave an example. A local market here decided to do an Eid festival for the first time, which is amazing. It is in the area where the highest Muslim population is in Victoria, in where I live, in my state as well. But the program that they've designed, it's a little bit strange. And after speaking with the markets team, they actually didn't have a Muslim to advise them at all on any of the aspects. So I think it takes everybody taking that responsibility, looking around them and thinking about how do they feel about what's going on. And everybody has that power, that opportunity to speak up, and do what they think is right in that sort of aspect. Yeah, so like it's good to see Kit Kat make a Ramadan package, for example, but like a friend pointed out, is it ethical as well? Nestle is known to not be the best in those terms. So it's also looking into how all these issues intersect, and what's best for us as a Muslim community in terms of being vicegerents on earth, and caring for the whole earth and all the people and the living things upon it.
Yeah, thank you, Sister Ines. Do you have any other comments, Brother Lucas, Sister Nurul, or Brother Haza, for this question?
Yes, may I?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I think speaking of commercializations, it doesn't only happens in Australia as well, but it's also happened in Indonesia. Even though we are the most populated Muslims in the world. And speaking of that, it can also has a positive impact and also a negative impact as well. And the positive impact that it also financially benefits a lot of people in Indonesia, because as far as we know, we also are developing countries. And yeah, during Ramadan, then there are so many people that sell everything, food, and then they financially benefit for it. But the other side of it, and basically because Ramadan is also some kind of traditions as well here in Indonesia, then maybe it's also a challenge for us and for the further generations to actually also understand the meaning, the religion's meaning of Ramadan, that they are just not doing it because it's common to do here in Indonesia, but also to have a really great understanding about the meaning of Ramadan itself. It's like that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sister Nurul. So my friends, I think I need to move to the second question. Yeah, it is from Edrida, a sister, Edrida, brother or sister. Could you please turn on your camera or also your microphone? She's asking, or is asking, a very interesting question about whether the Ramadan brings curiosity and happiness for society. Edrida, you there? Okay, it's not here. Yeah, yeah. I want to hear from the response from Brother Haza. The question from Edrida: is it Ramadan also bring many curiosity and happiness for society, especially when iftar and many food are was there too? Or what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that, yeah, as I've told before, that Ramadan really brings happiness and joy to everyone. But I think with the commercialization of Ramadan, especially with all of the public iftar being commercialized at such a hefty price, you see a lot of crowds. You see a lot of people are eating and drinking excessively at all you can eat buffet. And I think that is also not reflecting the message of Ramadan itself. Yeah, well, okay, we can have happiness and also joy eating together with our family. But when it comes to the issue of overconsumption and commercialization during Ramadan, especially if you are looking at those iftar programs being sold at hotels with all you can eat buffet setting, it is not actually in line with the Ramadan spirit. So I think that the spirit of the Ramadan joy and happiness could be seen in mosque instead of the hotel. I'm not really banning those events in the hotel as long as they are responsible, but I think that I see a tendency towards overconsumption and what is it? A tabdhir, as we are saying it in Arabic, the excessiveness in eating things. And yeah, I myself I've joined some iftar events, and I really sad whenever people are eating there are quite forsaking the main duty, that is to pray Maghrib. So people are focusing on eating things, and they are suddenly think that, oh, it's almost Isha, we haven't done our prayers, and that's keep on happening. It really annoys me to a certain level. So yeah, we just need to keep things at moderate in order to enjoy Ramadan. I remember a story by a Turkish by a former Turkish professor in Ankara University. So he used to study in Rome, and he did his postdoctoral research, I think, in Vatican. So yeah, everyone in Vatican knows that he is doing his Ramadan fasting. So yeah, so people know that he should be provided with iftar. So when the iftar time comes, he was only provided with soup and bread, and he was quite sad, So, and when he was looking sad, a priest reminded him, why you are looking so sad? Is the message of Ramadan should be a message of simplicity and humility, not one of excessiveness. So he was really reminded of that message. And a Catholic priest reminded him on how to do fast. And I think it's a very interesting message that we should remember, because our Catholic friends will be finishing their Lent term. I think around these 3 days, they will be welcoming Easter. And yeah, I think that all of this spiritual exchanges is needed in order to remember ourselves what is the true essence of Ramadan, which is actually the message of humility and also simplicity.
Thank you very much, Brother Haza. The message of Ramadan should be the message of simplicity. Also, maybe, yeah, appreciating the diversity as well. Yeah. Now, I think I want to move to the third question. It is specific question to Brother Lucas from Mr. Fatur Rahman. Yeah, Mr. Fatur Rahman, I want to invite you to turn on your camera and also your microphone to raise your question to Brother Lucas. Please.
All right. So, hi, Lucas. Is there a difference in determining the start of Ramadan or Eid in Australia, as is the case in Indonesia? I mean, the difference between the first day of Ramadan or Eid, because in Indonesia we have Nahdlatul Ulama, Muhammadiyah, and they have a different method to determine of the first day of Ramadan or Eid. That's it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Well, I guess the method of determining it there's a few groups that do it, and Uncle Rowan explained it quite well. There are some who rely on the hilal. some who rely on the Islamic councils, and some who rely on the Turkish government. But everyone kind of follows the same kind of principle, in that it should be the first little crescent moon at the start of the month. Sorry, I got a little guest that wants to join me. Hello, everyone. And yeah, so there's not too much. There's no difference in calculation. It's just that some organisations do it a little differently. Yeah. Sorry about that. Marsha just wants to say hello. She's always curious about. She's always curious about seeing you guys.
Thank you very much, Brother Lucas. Also, very, very beautiful daughter. Yeah, my friends, I think that's all the Q&A session and for this talk show. I know we may have the time, so it is about 9 to 10 minutes towards the end of this talk show time. Yeah, I want to remind you once again, do not forget to fill in the form of the attendance where you may reclaim your certificate of the participation. And after this, we want to move to the session for the wrapping. Yeah, we'll also introduce the chairman of Alumni Forum, Mr. Yanuardi Syukur. But before that, I want to invite you all to take a virtual group photo together. We want to take a group photo together, virtual group photo together. And now, simply turn on your camera and make a camera-friendly face. So my friends, Sister Nurul and others will capture this momentous event. Yeah. Please turn on your camera first before we start capturing the photos for the mementos. Wow, it seems that we are very happy. I see the very, very happy faces. In Australia, we are approaching the buka puasa time. Maybe it's also part of ngabuburit time for Australian friends. But in Indonesia, it's still around 3 hours. So yeah, it's not really ngabuburit. But we are happy to see a very, very beautiful and very, very smile face here. Sister Nurul, yeah, I give floors to you for the pictures.
Okay, we have Fida actually will take picture.
Okay. I think let me count one by one.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Please.
So I will take the pic right now. Okay, you can say buncis in Indonesian, buncis, like that. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and slide 2, 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Yeah. Very happy for this group photo together. My friends, I think because of mind of time, we are heading to the next session. It's going to be the final session of today's event. That's the closing. But before that, I would like to invite the Mr. Yanuardi Syukur as the chairman of Alumni AIMEP Forum to give the remarks, maybe also wrapping from what we already discussed in this talk show. And of course, we will invite and ask him to make a dua together for the closing of the event. Floor is yours, Ustadz Yanuardi Syukur.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Brother Dito, my brother and sister. This is very important day in Ramadan. We collaborate in a discussion about Ramadan in my community. I think what the speaker mentioned in this today discussion is very important. I read here about celebrating Ramadan, individual, private, family iftar, and also Tarawih prayer is very important and very interesting in during Ramadan. And also what Sister Inas mentioned about commercialize in Ramadan is very important and very interesting to discuss after this event. And also I write here about interesting as a citizen from different city as Sister Nurul from Borneo. or Kalimantan Island, what Sister Nurul mentioned about diversity, about local culture, and walking around with drum, beduk, and something like that. This is very important to know about how local people, how local culture engage with Islamic belief, and also what Brother Lucas mentioned about buka bersama, no single one Majlis Ulama in like Majlis Ulama Indonesia. I think if you have interesting about that, maybe we can collaborate to make research about this problem. For example, in Indonesia, we have Majelis Ulama Indonesia as one Majelis Ulama to determining the Ramadan, the first Ramadan, and we can discuss about that in an article, and this article about that. Yeah. This is very important to make a research article about that, about Islamic institution in Australia and also Islamic institution in Indonesia. Brothers and sisters, we are now in Ramadan, and we hope that our ibadah today will, and also during Ramadan, will be pahala from Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. And we know that now Ramadan is a month of the Quran, narrated by Uthman. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, "The best among you are those who learn the Quran and teach it. Khairukum man ta'allama al-Qur'ana wa 'allamahu." So we must to keep in touch in Quran, to learn, to recite every day, and don't forget to khatam, yeah, to khatam Al-Quran in this moment, in this Ramadan. And I think that's all for me. And we pray to Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala today. Allahumma sholli ala Muhammad wa ala ali sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma fir lil muslimina wal mu'minat wal mu'minina wal mu'minat al ahya'i wal amwat innaka samiun qaribun mujib da'wat ya qadiyal hajat. Rabbana la tuzigh qulubana ba'da idh hadaitana wa hab lana min ladunka rahmah innaka antal wahhab. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. And thank you very much for all the collaborator, all the speaker, all the participant, and all the committee for this moment. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Ustaz Yanuardi Syukur, for the closing remarks and the dua. My friends, ladies and gentlemen, now we are heading to the end of the session. That's the closing. On behalf of the organizer, we hope that this event been informative and has provided with you a better understanding of how Australia and Indonesian engage with Ramadan. Also, we'd like to remind you once again, do not forget to fill in the attendance form where you may get and also claim your certificate of participation of this event. Finally, we thank you all for your active participation and valuable contribution made the event great success. We hope you found the discussion insightful and informative. And selamat berbuka puasa for our friend in Australia. Happy ngabuburit for our friends in Indonesia. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to your continued engagement with AIMEP Alumni Forum and its future events. Me, Dito Ali Pratama, is signing off. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.